Hi there, it's Mr. Evans here. This is a video that looks at how to manage stakeholder relationships. We are on the final video now of this unit 3.2, how to manage the relationship with different stakeholders, and we need to look at communication and consultation. So just to recap, this is Mendelow's power grid, where we look at the stakeholders who have got a high influence and those stakeholders who have got a high level of interest over the business, and the other corresponding portions of the grid. This will allow us to identify who are the most important stakeholders to kind of manage a relationship with. And who we can spend less time, who is less important, people down in this grid here, to spend our time worrying about. So the two ways that AQA identify to manage relationship is communication with different stakeholders, which could be done through dialogue on an informal basis, speaking to employees, speaking to people in the local community, speaking to customers, finding out what their needs are. So we could do that fairly informally, or we could do a press release to the media to explain what's going on in our business. We could open up for Q&A sessions. That might be an internal one for the management to explain to employees the reasons for a decision, or to ask for employees' input to a decision. It might be external, inviting members from the local community along to have a say and have a listen to what the organisation has to say. Obviously, we could include in that technology, which is really communication technology, using the internet to get feedback from different stakeholders and manage the relationships. So a whole load of different ways in there. A consultation is where you try and get some feedback from different stakeholders, and again there's various ways of doing that, like an open forum that people can attend. You could do a survey, focus group, which we'll look at in more detail in marketing, but just some ideas there that I've had about how to communicate and consult with different stakeholders. Just when I was going through my ideas, I've put this together about how to manage relationships with particular stakeholder groups. So with customers, things like having accurate advertising and delivering on promises, simple stuff, but if you do these things, it will ensure that you get a better relationship with customers. Paying suppliers on time, installing better communication systems, so using ICT to communicate with suppliers. That will benefit you because you'll get the goods that you want on time, but it will also help to manage a relationship with the suppliers, because if you've invested in improving communication with them, it probably means you're going to be in for the long run with them, which will be one of their interests fulfilled. Employees, they could recognise trade unions or this concept of a work council, which are quite popular in Europe and are gaining a bit more use in the UK. Work council is basically where you have some members of the workforce who attend the board meetings and represent workers at those. Making sure workers are getting training and development, putting on social events, making sure the workplace is healthy, making sure that the workplace is safe at least, will help maintain relationships with employees. Owners and shareholders, we could do some consultation there at the AGM. We could actually listen to their concerns. I think about the example that I gave in a previous video of Bob Dudley, the chairman of BP, who had his pay voted against. His pay deal was voted against by shareholders, but that wasn't a binding vote. In other words, they didn't have to listen to that. But it'll be interesting to see if BP do take that on board when they're settling their executive pay for next year. Local community, you can maintain relationships by being a good citizen, basically contributing to the community, maintaining the business's site and surroundings, making sure there's not litter everywhere, creating jobs for the local community. Hopefully fairly self-explanatory, but methods there that you could use as a business to maintain your relationships with stakeholders. Okay, and just as I said, this is the final part of this unit here, 3.2.